State-owned logistics entity Transnet and its unions are heading to the bargaining council after wage talks stalled over a wage offer. The entity says its decision is based on maintaining cash flows and what it can afford. The South African Transport Workers Union is proposing a salary increase between 12% and 13.5%. It all comes as government battles a multi-billion rand wage package sought by civil service unions seeking increases. Government says it can only offer 2%. Inflation peaked at 7.8% this week, the highest in over a decade, amid rising cost of living for South African households. Joining us now to expand on this is the union's head of communications, Amanda Tshemese. Very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. You've reached a deadlock with Transnet and you're now heading to the bargaining council. Perhaps let's start right at the beginning. How did you get to this point?
A very good evening to you too, Paul, and to your viewers at home, and thank you so much for inviting us. Well, we've been having these negotiations with Transnet since May this year. I think it's about 3 to 4 months now, and we've had about 3 rounds. In the first round, that is when we were proposing our demand, which is an increase of 13.5%, and then the employer at the time gave us 0% increase. We came back for another round, which is now a second round. Still, the employer told us that they cannot meet our demands. We then took the matter to the bargaining council for conciliation. And then that is when the employer now offered us 1.5% increase. We then felt very insulted and very undermined by the employer because now we had moved from the initial demand of 13.5% to 12%, but still they could not meet our demands. We then decided to ask for a certificate of dispute where we can then be able to hold a legal and a protected strike. That is where we are at this moment.
What Transnet has said is that the offer on the table takes into account affordability and the company's current liquidity position, also revealing that its wage bill in 2021 was 61% of operating expenditure, which is what the entity says is unsustainable. What's your thoughts or your sentiments around that?
You know what, Paul? For us as the union, our priority is our members and our workers. For an example, not so long ago, this week on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, we had joined the COSA to national shutdown, meaning that our members are also not having it easy. The high cost of the cost of living is very high in this country. Our members and workers cannot even afford the basics. For an example, I'll tell you one thing. Not so long ago, I had a conversation with one lady who was saying to me that she walks to and from work on a daily basis, plus minus 10 kilometers, because she does not have 15 rands every day to go and to come back from work. So from us, the only thing that we want is what's good for our members and for our workers. What and where they do it, it's none of our concern. All we want is what's due for our members at this point. And unfortunately, we are not going to break down until our members get what's due to them.
Yeah, because in your statement as Satawu, you said that while your priority, at least for the time being, was not to strike, you will not back down from your demand of the minimum of 13.5% across the board. If you do decide to go on strike, how will it affect your members and workers?
Well, Paul, just to emphasize the matter again, our priority as Satawu is definitely not going on strike. But unfortunately, looking at things at this current moment, that is where the employer is pushing us, and that's where we are going to meet, because we have adjusted our demands. Coming to your point, employer, it has been very difficult for our members. Currently, the country is facing a high rate of unemployment. There's retrenchments everywhere. as I was saying, we have joined a COSATU national strike this week on Thursday. So people, they have so much to lose. We're talking about breadwinners here. We're talking about people who are not even earning much. So it's really not going to be easy for our members. But for them to get what they want, we are willing to go on strike if the employer does not come back to us and table a better and a meaningful offer.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. Let's leave it there for now. Satawu's Head of Communications, Amanda Tshemese, thank you for your time talking to us about what kind of action they'll take should the employer fail to meet their demand. Still to